The book of Judges ends with a chilling statement. In those days there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. These words paint a stark picture of a nation adrift, a society teetering on the brink of chaos. Without a righteous king to guide them, the Israelites had abandoned God's law and were each following their own desires. This spiritual and moral decay created an environment ripe for tragedy, a tragedy that would soon unfold in the horrifying story of the Levite and his concubine. The absence of leadership had eroded the moral fabric of Israel. It was a time of self-serving individualism where people prioritized their own needs above the well-being of others. The sense of community and shared purpose, once hallmarks of their faith, had dissipated, replaced by suspicion and distrust. This disintegration of unity and righteousness set the stage for a horrific act that would shake the very foundations of Israel. Amidst this backdrop of moral decline, we are introduced to a Levite and his concubine. The Levite, a member of the tribe tasked with religious duties, is portrayed as a man of questionable character. His relationship with the concubine, a woman with no legal standing or voice, is shrouded in ambiguity. We are told that she had been unfaithful and had fled back to her father's house in Bethlehem, a place seemingly distant both geographically and emotionally. The text offers little insight into the concubine's feelings or motivations. We are left to wonder about the nature of their relationship, the circumstances that led to her flight, and the heartache she must have carried within her. Was she mistreated, undervalued, or simply yearning for the love and acceptance she lacked? The narrative remains silent, casting a shadow of sorrow over her already precarious existence. After 4 months, the Levite decides to travel to Bethlehem to bring his concubine back. His journey, meant to be a story of reconciliation, becomes a stark reminder of the eroded hospitality in Israel. He initially finds lodging in the town square, highlighting a community's reluctance to open their homes to strangers. Only when an old man, not originally from Bethlehem, extends a hand of welcome, does the Levite find shelter. This act of kindness, while seemingly insignificant, becomes a poignant contrast to the horrors that will soon unfold. The old man's hospitality, rooted in his own experiences as a traveler, stands as a beacon of light in a darkening world. His willingness to offer food, shelter, and protection to strangers echoes the ancient Israelite tradition of welcoming guests as if they were messengers from God. Ironically, it is within the walls of his home, a place of refuge and generosity, that the Levite and his concubine will face their most terrifying ordeal. As darkness descends upon Gibeah, a city of Benjamin, the true depravity lurking beneath the surface of Israel is revealed. A mob of wicked men surrounds the old man's house, demanding to abuse the Levite. The old man, echoing the horrific events of Sodom and Gomorrah, offers his own daughter and the Levite's concubine to protect his guest from this unspeakable act. The Levite, in a shocking display of cowardice and cruelty, pushes his concubine into the hands of the mob. Throughout the night, the innocent concubine endures unimaginable horrors. The men of Gibeah, consumed by their own lust and brutality, treat her with utter disregard for her humanity. She becomes a symbol of the vulnerability of the weak and the consequences of a society that has abandoned its moral compass. The Levite's inaction, his willingness to sacrifice her to save himself, reveals the depths of his own depravity. Section 5. A gruesome message, the concubine's fate. The next morning, the Levite finds his concubine lying lifeless on the doorstep. Her silence speaks volumes of the horrors she endured. In a shocking act, he decides to cut her body into 12 pieces and send them throughout the tribes of Israel. This grotesque act, meant to incite outrage and demand justice, becomes a chilling testament to the perversion of justice and the depth of his own callousness. This gruesome act serves as a visceral reminder of the brokenness of Israel. By dismembering the concubine's body, the Levite mirrors the fractured state of his nation. Each piece, delivered to a different tribe, is a macabre call to action, a desperate plea for unity and retribution in the face of unspeakable evil. Section 6. Israel's outrage, a cry for justice. The response to the Levite's gruesome message is immediate and unanimous. The tribes of Israel, united in horror and indignation, gather together for the first time in generations. The The sight of the dismembered concubine ignites a firestorm of anger and a collective thirst for justice. The demand is clear. Gibeah and the tribe of Benjamin must be held accountable for their wickedness. This unprecedented unity underscores the magnitude of the crime committed in Gibeah. The brutal violation of the concubine transcends tribal boundaries and awakens a long-dormant sense of shared identity and purpose. For a brief moment, the Israelites set aside their differences and stand together as one nation, bound by a shared outrage and a thirst for righteousness. Section 7. Benjamin's Defiance, the Descent into Civil War. However, the hope for unity is short-lived. The tribe of Benjamin, blinded by tribal loyalty and a perverse sense of honor, refuses to surrender the perpetrators. They choose to defend their kinsmen, even in the face of overwhelming evidence and the unified condemnation of their fellow Israelites. This act of defiance ignites a bloody civil war, pitting brother against brother in a senseless and devastating conflict. Benjamin's defiance highlights the dangerous allure of tribalism. Their loyalty to their tribe supersedes their commitment to justice, leading them down a path of self-destruction. The ensuing civil war becomes a tragic testament to the corrosive power of blind allegiance and the devastating consequences of prioritizing tribal loyalty over righteousness. Section 8. The Bitter Harvest, Tribalism and Its Consequences. The war against Benjamin ends in devastating victory for the 11 tribes. Almost the entire tribe of Benjamin is wiped out, leaving behind a chilling legacy of death and destruction. The land that was once teeming with life now echoes with the silence of the dead. The victory is a Pyrrhic one, a hollow triumph that leaves Israel shattered and mourning the loss of its own people. The aftermath of the war serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of sin. The pursuit of justice, while righteous, devolved into a cycle of violence and retribution. The very fabric of Israelite society is torn apart, leaving behind a legacy of pain, loss, and a profound sense of disillusionment. The once promising nation, poised for greatness, is left teetering on the brink of collapse. Section 9. A Call to Repentance, Finding Hope in the Midst of Tragedy. The tragic story of the Levite and his concubine serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of moral decay, the perversion of justice, and the devastating consequences of tribalism. It is a story that speaks to the human capacity for both great love and unimaginable cruelty. Yet, even in the midst of such darkness, there is a glimmer of hope. The story is a powerful call to repentance, a plea for individuals and nations to turn away from wickedness and seek God's forgiveness and guidance. The horrors depicted in this narrative serve as a stark warning against the perils of moral relativism and the dangers of prioritizing self-interest over the well-being of others. The story reminds us that true justice is rooted in righteousness, compassion, and a commitment to upholding the dignity of every human being. It is a call to examine our own hearts, to confront the darkness within ourselves and our communities, and to strive for a world where such atrocities are never again repeated.